But you have.
We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we come to you every single morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We want to know where you're dialing from, what city, what state, what country. We are beginning a new series today, guys, and I think you're going to be excited about it. We're talking about why you should know your spouse's Enneagram. Now, some of you who've been watching us for the last couple of months or years are familiar with what that term is. Some of you are going to hear about it for the first time, and it is going to really, open up your eyes, open up your ears, give you a tremendous amount of information about you, your spouse, and how to do life right. But listen, before we get started, make sure you
like, share, and subscribe, guys. We love that you're doing that. Hit that notification bell. When you do that, you will not miss a show. We really appreciate you. Every day, you guys continue to spread this message across the planet, and it is working. So thank you, guys, and keep up the good work.
All right, listen, I'm sorry, you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Before we get started, I want to make a few quick announcements. As you know, this Saturday, February the 19th through the 19th, 2022, from 3 to 7 p.m. is our Overcoming Emotional Triggers Masterclass. It's $197. I need you to sign up for that because oftentimes there are questions that you have about, how do I overcome these triggers? What am I doing? How do I get my life right? How do I begin to, overcome the pain? Well, it is a 4-hour masterclass. We're going to break that down for you and show you exactly what you need to do. So we're encouraging you and your spouse to be in attendance so that all will go well from this point forward in knowing how to not just manage, but overcome for good, how to get rid of them, how to move on, how to have life.
How to manage them, because, we think oftentimes that, one day these triggers are just going to stop, and we don't understand that we have to make sure that that happens because you can have triggers for years. I've always told this story about the military man. I used to live in a town where there was a man that used to walk around, and he was in the military, and he was a very trustworthy, we thought, a guy, he was the handyman, and one time he walked into the bank with a jar of change, and he heard a sound, and all of a sudden he dropped his jar of change, and he hit the floor, and he was just like, everybody hit the ground. And in that moment, military man was right back in the war. He literally had left the building of the bank. And so that was somebody who had been away from the military and away from the war. It was like 20 years, and he was still dealing with the triggers. And so it's up to us to take control, take the reins of our life, and do what is necessary to manage these triggers so that they become more and more distant, and we overcome them. So this is going to be a powerful class. It always is. Don't miss it. It's less than a session with either of us.
Right.
So make sure that you get in this class.
Explain what that means. It's less than a session.
It's less than spending an hour talking to Hassani or I in a one-on-one or couple session, right? And so and we're going to give you, how long is it? 4 hours?
4 hours.
And so it's a 4-hour deep dive on this topic where we're going to break it down, help you understand what's going on, and then help you to overcome it.
And last but not least, Foundry starts next week. Many of you have been reaching out. It is next week we get started. The link is in the description. Just click it to go to the page to find out more information about what it is and what we offer. And, we'll make sure that this week we'll come in here with Jeff and kind of unpack for you and give you a little taste test of what you can come to experience. But the transformation has been incredible. We've been receiving an incalculable amount of testimonials. We're going to start posting those to give you some insight on the power of this particular program. All right, guys, we're going to jump into today's topic. Why should you know your spouse's Enneagram?
Well, here, let me just say this. I hope everybody had a really wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday.
Yes.
We did our best. We actually worked. But guess what? At the end of the night, we did find some time to sneak away. So we're going to do a redo later on. But I want to point out a couple things that oftentimes in relationships, right, especially on special days like Valentine's Day and our birthdays, we or whatever holiday, we have expectations of our spouse, unspoken, some of them, and sometimes we verbalize them. And can we admit that sometimes our spouses miss the mark just a little bit, and it frustrates us, and we feel triggered, and we are sad, or we feel angry, or we're just confused, and we don't know why this happened. This is why it is so important for you to understand your partner's Enneagram and to understand your Enneagram number as well. We talk about it all the time, or we reference it all the time, but I'm really excited about us dialing into what it actually is, and we're going to do this for the rest of the week. So if you have never heard of the Enneagram, and if you're in the Christian church, you probably have, because it really is, that's where we learned about it, and that's where we first started really dialing deep into it. Enne means 9, gram means written down. So it's really just a simple breakdown of what the word means. Enneagram, right? Because people hear Enneagram, the pentagram. No. Ennea means 9, gram means gramma, is the Greek word, means written down. And so what it is 9 personality styles that have been developed and studied that actually help you understand not just what you do, but why you do what you do. And it's really powerful. It is the study of human psychology. It has been developed over years. And now we have this powerful tool that allows us to kind of see under the hood. We're always trying to figure it out, but we never really understand what we're seeing. So there's an assessment that you can take. You can take it here at Couples Academy that will allow you to answer about, 100 or so questions.
200 questions.
Oh, 200.
Yeah. And on that note, there's so many tests out there.
There are.
And you really got to be careful which one you go to.
Actually, the one that we provide is about 99% accurate. And also, when I meet with somebody, if I feel like, we're way off with your number, I will reassess you, and we always get you corrected. But yes, you want to make sure that you're taking an accurate test, because some people come in here with this number, who knows where they got it from, and they're way off. Yeah. But these 9 personality styles really help you to dial in and understand who your partner is. Now, here, let me break this down to you. I'm going to just point out one personality style. Number 2 is considered the helper. Okay, so you probably know a helper. This is the person that is always willing to help. She's a volunteer. She never says no. Her home is always welcome to visitors. If people are going through, she is the one to show up with a box of tissue. She will wipe your eye, or he. You will get a great embrace and hug from this 2. If everyone's chilly in the room, the 2's getting up and getting blankets and wrapping it around everybody's shoulder. The 2 is the helper. But why the 2 helps is what really sets the 2 apart from everyone else, because everyone can help. So if you see somebody helping, you're going to be like, that person's a 2. If you don't understand that everyone helps, but we help for different reasons, okay? So the 1 helps because it feels like the right thing to do, right? The 2 helps because they desire to help, and they want to be helpful and feel valued for being helpful. The 3 will help because they want to be successful or seen as successful, and it looks like achievement, right? The 4 will help because they get to be unique, and this is maybe something that only they can do. And then the 5 helps when they feel that they are competent in the thing that they are helping. The 6 will help because they're just a loyal person. So they're going to show up because they're loyal, and when people call on me, I'm showing up because I'm loyal. The 7 helps because it's fun. Let's do it. Let's clean up the park. It's fun to do that. Let's get everybody smiling again. And then the 8 helps because they want to be in control. They want to feel like they have the power and they have the authority. That helper is going to be in charge of the help group, okay? And then you have the 9. And the 9 is helping most of the time because they just want to keep the peace. They don't, they ain't really want to do it. But they just didn't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, so they went along with it. Now, apply that in your relationship. Can you imagine? Like, if you are in a relationship and you're struggling to understand, why does my spouse do the things that they do? Now you can see how important it is for you to get deeper and understand your Enneagram.
Because you could easily get frustrated when you don't know why. It's just like, oh my God, this is a problem. I just don't get it. My spouse is from another planet. I just don't get them, understand them. I can't communicate with them. And it's because you may not know who they are. They may not know who they are, right? A lot of times when people take their Enneagram, it either confirms, I think people know who they are, but they may not know why they are the way that they are.
That's
right?
real. I mean, and I think there are some personality styles that struggle to even know who they are. But yes, it's definite that most of us, because we operate very much in an unconscious way, right? Oftentimes when you're driving home from work, you're not even making decisions anymore. You're just doing it very much unconsciously. Before you know it, you're home and pulling into your driveway. That's how most of us operate. And so yes, we are operating in an unconscious state. And so we're doing things based on internal anxieties. So how this Enneagram comes together, right? We're going to a break already?
Yeah, we gotta go.
Okay, guys, we're gonna come back and talk about this in a minute. We got a quick break and we'll be right back.
To the wives struggling to move forward, I know that you're hurt, filled with doubt, fear, anger, and resentment. I know you're trying to be your best self throughout this recovery process, all while still having to be mom, daughter, sister, friend, and so much more. I know it feels impossible to be there for everyone else when at times your journey feels so isolated and alone. I know that more than once a day, you scream on the inside, I can't take this anymore. I know there are days when you feel like you want to give up and run away. I know you spend too much time sitting in your car parked in the driveway to get your head right so that you can keep moving. I know this feels like a lot of work with no guarantees. And I know you wonder, what happened to me? Who am I? And why am I here? More than you'd like to admit. I know all of this because I once felt the way you do too. It may not be evident by looking around because we all wear our masks, but you're not the only one who feels like you'll never get back to you. That's why I've launched Unearthed. Unearthed is a 12-week group coaching program focused on discovering the woman within. Just as the earth hides all kinds of precious stones waiting to be found, buried within every woman are the seeds of wisdom, strength, purpose, and passion waiting to be brought to the light. Unearthed will take you through a spiritual, emotional, and physical excavation process that will reveal to you who God designed you to be and guide you through a process to embrace and activate your true identity. When you complete this journey, you'll have a new focus aligned with your core values so that you can begin to feel your life again and discover that your gifts aren't buried, but planted and waiting to be unearthed. Register today.
Welcome back, everybody. You are watching the Couples Academy show, and we're talking about why you should know your spouse's Enneagram and your own. Mm-hmm. We should just know our Enneagram number. I just want to say good morning to a few people. Hello, Lisa TT, Marlena, hey, Jewel, Gonzalez, good to see you. It's Robin's World, hey there, LaShawn, Danielle, Fedlina, Jackie, Chicago, Shalise is with us, JJ is with us, Josh is with us, and Gonzalez is with us. Jewel and Gonzalez just left us up from yesterday, so you guys know that they were in our studio audience, and we didn't get a chance to say goodbye, but guys, thank you so much. We love you, and we're so happy to know that you got back home safe. Good morning, Arlene and Cece. Hey, listen, guys, I want to jump back into this topic because it's so important. We're talking about the Enneagram and why you need to know your own and you need to know your spouse's Enneagram for better communication. I just want you to pop that chart up real quick, Asani, because it's important for me to share this with the people because it will go with our first point. Okay, so check this chart out, right? I want you to know that with every personality style, there are three triads, okay? 8, 9s, and 1s, gut. That means we move from the gut. That means we feel and make our decisions from the gut and feeling place, or not feeling place, but instinct place, gut and instinct. Then you've got your 2s, 3s, and 4s. They move from the heart and feeling place. They're completely different from the other center. And then you've got your 5, 6, and 7s. They move by thinking in the head and doing. So move that out of the way. It's important to understand all these things, and you will have a chance to go through the assessment. We don't like for you to go out there and just take an assessment on your own and get your own answers, because a couple of things happen. People use what they've discovered as a weapon. They will weaponize and say, see, I told you this is how you were. They'll find out about their spouse and not about themselves, right? And they don't get a chance to have deeper understanding. So if you're interested, because I see a message in here, if you're interested, go ahead and book a session. We'll take care of the test and we'll give you the evaluation as well. But let's go to point number 1. Boom. It develops your empathy. The power of empathy, especially when you're going through some things and you are challenged and everything that you see that your spouse does feels like an attack. It feels like conflict all the time. The truth is that you really just don't understand the anxiety that is moving them. What if the anxiety that is moving them to behave and act in a certain way is shame? What if it's guilt? What if it's fear? I mean, you're just afraid. Prime example, I used to avoid funerals like the plague. I hated going to funerals and I did not know why. And so I would just find any reason under the sun not to go. I'm going to send them something. Oh, I got to go here. I got to go there. I didn't realize that as a 7, the vice or the core anxiety is fear. Fear of being trapped in pain. Now, that's not the core anxiety for everybody in my triad, the 5s or the 6s. But it is for me, being trapped in pain. So I had to learn to sit in the pain, right? The Bible talks about there's a season for all things. There's a season to marry and be given into marriage and to grieve. There's a season to die, right? And so if the person, if I'm sitting at a funeral and I'm telling everybody, see the bright side, guys, everything's gonna be all right, right? At least they went to heaven, you know? Like, no, we can't do that. We have to understand the seasons and we have to learn to be comfortable when you're uncomfortable. And that's what this helps you to do. So it's really critically important for you to understand your partner's and your own's Enneagram, because it develops empathy.
Yeah, I think that prior to us taking classes and courses to get a deeper understanding of who we were, there was a frustration. There was an annoyance. There was a rolling of the eyes, like
about everything.
What are you like? What like? Why are you doing like that type of thing? And then after really going through our own training, we were like, man, okay, the thing that used to really frustrate me and annoy me doesn't now, because I have an understanding. Sometimes people just want to know the why. Well, what?
I think it still can be annoying.
It depends on what it is. There are things that you do that are definitely annoying. There are things that I do that are definitely annoying. But there are some things, once you understand the vitriol or the real struggle that you have with it can go away. It depends on what it is. I think all of us have annoyances. All of us have those type of things that just like, oh, here we go again. But there's other things that you have an understanding for that you once didn't, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, I mean, it is what it is. You know, you can deal with it and manage with it better. You know, there's not such a contempt that you have for your spouse when it comes to things.
That's the empathy part. Like, it may still get under your skin, right? But having understanding about it, it's just like, I think of it, what helped me is to think about it like a child with special needs, right? The frustration, the disappointment, the heartbreak that comes along with it, but the empathy and understanding that it's not their fault. This is who they are, and I've got to show up a certain kind of a way, regardless of how I feel. And so it gives you the ability to train yourself on how to be. It opens up your mind. Yeah. Number 2, the Enneagram helps you understand yourself. Now, We talk about it all the time. It's not about what you do, but why you're doing it. So many of us are walking around here unconscious about the things that we do. Certain personality styles, more so than the others, are very much disconnected from why they do the things that they do. The 4, and we're going to dial into each and every number as we go throughout the week, but the 4 is the most in tuned with their selves and the soulish realm of themselves. So oftentimes we just don't understand why we do the things that we do. Case in point, me with the fear, right? Once I had understanding, I was able to make conscious decisions. And that's what you need the ability to do. If you're every day doing the same exact thing and then you sit down at the end of the day and you're loathing yourself, why did I do this? Why do I do this all the time? I can't stop doing it. I said I wasn't going to do it today, and I did it anyway. Once you discover the reasons why, what motivates you to do it, what anxiety drives you to either put yourself out there or retract, now you're able to make those conscious decisions.
Without a doubt. There's a couple of great comments in here I want to go to. Jackie says, my husband and I have been married for 22 years and together for 32 years. We took the Enneagram about 9 months ago. It has changed our marriage.
I'm telling you, Jackie.
It really does. We have another one from D. I had my Enneagram and my husband laughed how accurate it was, so I scheduled his. Danielle was on point about both of us. She even gave us insight on how our numbers could work together. Get yours. And then she also says, Hassani's right. It felt so much better when I understood why I was doing things. It helped me it helped me personally while I'm working on my transformation.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. I think what's great about it, it gives you a pathway of what to do.
Yes.
So many people say, well, this is just who I am. It is what it is.
No,
well, you don't have to remain that way. You could become a better version of yourself. Listen, guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back after a quick break, and we will go deeper into why you need to know your spouse's Enneagram.
If you're a man and you have a pulse, then you need to join this program. You're a husband, you're a father, you're a leader. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders. You have to be everything for everyone, but do you know who and how to be for you? You're still in search of your own significance. You're in internal battle with your own vices. You're questioning, do I even know what it means to be a man? I know I'm supposed to be there for others, but what about me? The fact is, you need a model. You need a code to live by, a system of principles to govern your life. You need an internal compass to guide your every decision. You need the 4 securities to build your own kingdom. What you need is the Foundry. In short, a foundry is a facility where castings are produced by melting metal, pouring liquid metal into a mold, and then allowing it to solidify. Well, this is where we're testing the metal of men. Foundry is a 12-week men's-only coaching program. It is a brotherhood that will take each man through a purification process of the heart, mind, and soul. We here at Couples Academy promise you that if you give us 12 weeks of your life, you will no longer recognize it. If you care about the improving of your life, your marriage, and your family, register today.
Gives you a pathway.
Welcome back, guys. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about why you should know your spouse's Enneagram number, and I want to jump right to Jackie's comment. She says, my son is autistic, and he took the Enneagram, and it has really assisted us in getting a better understanding of his thought process. Now he is 22, but an awesome tool for all of our grown kids. Absolutely. I've tested Maddie, our producer. I know what makes her tick, and I think we were talking about this the other day, that, parenting, sometimes you realize that your kids are raised under the same roof, but you will have to parent them different.
That's right.
And you'll do one thing with one kid and it just doesn't work with the other, and you're like, what is with this kid? They're different. They process emotions differently, and they are motivated differently. So it is a powerful tool actually to use on your children as well once they become of age. But let's go to the next point. The Enneagram helps you understand others. Now, this is the gift that the Enneagram has given me because, people have different dispositions, right? And so, of course, what we do, we see couples every week, every month. And so sometimes when we're doing our last chance weekends, certain personalities walk through the door and they have a certain grim look on their face and they look angry and they look intimidating and you don't want anything to do with that person. And then you give them their Enneagram assessment and you discover their number. It is like removing the veil. It is like peeling off the mask. It's like taking the adult away and finding the child, the little child that was wounded when they were 7 years old. And you get to speak to the wounded child in adult language to help grow up the wounded child. And that's what's so powerful about it. It doesn't put you in a box and say, hey, this is who you are. And this is who you're always going to be. It actually shows you the box that you're in and then gives you a path to get out of the box and become who God actually designed you to be. But sometimes we are so wounded. We were wounded as a child. We were abandoned. We were neglected. Whatever happened to us as a child that caused us to coat our personalities with this protective layer called our persona and personality. That person in there is waiting to become who God designed them to be. They just really may not know who that is.
So you're right. We are all wounded, right? Sometimes these wounds come, go all the way back to childhood, previous relationships, but then we take on the identity of the wound. Right? And that shapes us and we show up to everything in life with that wounded mentality. And so once a person can understand their own wounds and how to free themselves and how to heal, but when you understand their wounds, you know how to deal with them. I think this is powerful, not just in relationships, Daniel, but you talking people in corporations study personalities to know who to hire, what teams to put together, who has strengths, who has weaknesses, what would be a great pairing. There's just so many things that you can do with this. It just really makes you powerful.
We used it this weekend. Even with Team Gonzalez came through and we had Rachel Griggs, she's on here. And they were a powerful team because there was no head bumping, right? You always want to find people who can work together. Like there can only be one person in charge. Is that real? Like you can't have two people in charge. There's always got to be a leader. And so when you know your personality style and you're comfortable in your personality style, you can play your role and you will play it beautifully. And you don't have to be intimidated by the roles that other people play. It's such a freedom experience to understand who you are and be validated in who you are, because most of us walk around criticizing ourselves, which goes to the next point here. The Enneagram helps others understand you. Okay? Is that the one that we're on? Yes, it helps others understand you. And here's the deal, guys. Like, if you don't know who you are, then how can you stand your ground about who you are? Like, you can't tell me how you are if you don't even have any clue. I think that there's something very powerful that happens when you get to this point where you can look at yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, and they become validated. And you also see, okay, this is my highest self. This is the actual highest potential of my personality. And you get to see the opposite. You can see the lowest potential of your destruction, right? And so there's a system in there, there's a scale that allows you to see exactly where you're at right now. This is where I am right now. I'm maybe in the average level, or maybe I've gone down to destructive, and this is what's going on in my world. And it's so validating. It is so revealing as to where you're at. But when you get to the point where you can acknowledge, these are my strengths, this is who I was designed to be, you will stop loathing it. And you will stop looking out at the world and saying, oh man, I should be more like that person. Oh, I wish I was more outspoken like this person. Oh, why am I so shy? Oh, I'm always overthinking. Dang, I'm so analytical. Oh my God, why am I so sensitive? We're always doing that about ourselves, but you get a chance to actually understand who you are, and now you can articulate that to people powerfully, and there's no shame in that.
Absolutely not. This is why the Enneagram is so critically important, and you need to know what your Enneagram personality style is, because I'm telling you, it's almost like living in the dark. It's almost like wearing permanent shades, right? you wear shades in the morning or in the daytime because the sun is out, but when it gets dark, you want to take the shades off so you can see better. But imagine if you had a permanent shade on your eyes and you could not see as clearly as you want to. But then you take this assessment and it's almost like taking those shades off and seeing everything in full sight. It's an amazing thing.
It's like, I guess if you can't see well and you finally get those glasses and everything becomes crystal clear, you're like, whoa, I did not know how blind I was, right? It's almost like my little cheater readers that I put on. I'm like, everything is all small to me, and all my kids make fun of me because I have my phone set to the biggest font ever, and when they pick up my phone, they're like, what in the world? Why is this so huge? But to me, I can see it. Well, when I put those readers on, everything becomes crystal clear.
So guys, we talk about this principle all the time. You must become a student of your spouse, okay? You want to get your PhD in your partner. And so one way that you do that is by having a comprehensive understanding of their personality style, their personality type, and it happens with this particular system, the Enneagram. So we are encouraging you, if you're new to the show, if you've been watching us for quite some time, you need to go ahead and make that happen. And so the next, you want to go to the last point before we end?
Well, the last point is basically this is how you need to get your Enneagram. You can reach out to us and schedule a session. It's an option on the website. Go ahead and schedule your Enneagram session, and that is included. The assessment is actually included. You'll take the test, it'll come to me, and then we'll go and do a deep dive. I love doing this with couples. If you can get your spouse in on that session, do it, but it's equally as powerful for you. If you're doing this by yourself and you just want to get a deeper understanding of who you are and why you are, you can schedule that session too. I see a comment from Lisa here. She says, I just told my husband last night that I hate being so sensitive. Watch out now. It might be who God designed you to be. We need sensitive people in the world. Imagine if all of us had a tough exterior. So you need to take that assessment and discover who you are and why you're sensitive so you can learn your superpower.
And learn how to use your powers for good and not evil. Guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. Hope you got something out of it. We're going to go a little bit deeper over the next few days unpacking this Enneagram, so make sure you stay tuned. Bring your spouse with you. Take good notes. Share these videos so that change can begin to take place all around us. See you in the morning. Take care.